Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe if you have not yet done so, if this resonates with you. Hopefully, this is going to be a quick video without too many and too many long pauses like the previous one. And also, this is a second take, and I hope it flows well. But even if it doesn't, I'll still go ahead and post it. Okay, welcome to the divine platform. All I do here is for the edification of the Most High and for the restoration of His kingdom. And yes, I can do all these things through Christ which strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. And may the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Psalms 19:14. Okay, so this video builds from the tetrarchs, the word tetrarch is embedded and encoded into life, and it is a compound word, and the word tetrarch occurs as a compound word generally, and so tetrarch is a modifier. It modifies the word that follows it. So like in TetraHedron, tetra modifies hedron. And we will examine the most common compound word with tetra as a modifier, and that word is TetraHedron. There is encoding in whatever they do or whatever is done by these entities in their rituals, and they're very intentional in the words they use and how they use them. And we use these words unbeknownst to us what we're actually participating in. That's why prayer is always very important, and repentance. The codes that they create have the tethering in them. So it's like they have the ownership of the definition of whatever words they are using. So when we use them as they have designed them or ordered them, then we are participating in their ritual. So in this specific video, I will discuss the modified word hedron, and especially the letters DR, which ties to asteroid, meteoroid, which I mentioned in the Anunnaki video, and also initially in the Florida video, the third, I think it was the third part, the 3-eye atlas. So by having these codes embedded almost everywhere, what they're really essentially doing is killing several birds with one stone. It's like it's on autopilot, whatever they're doing. And we are the ones who kind of actualize whatever they are trying to do. And if you haven't watched the previous videos, this tetrarch is the video that has the word tetrarch that leads me to the tetrahedron. And the tetrarchs were 4 leaders during the Roman time. And I say that we will have the same 4 leaders, not the exact, could be the exact same ones, but 4 leaders. It's like replaying that Roman time. And a tetrahedron is the most common word that contains tetra in it. So that's just a quick and brief explanation. Okay, so tetrahedron, this is a tetrahedron. It's a 4-sided polygon. But okay, tetrahedron, Sanhedrin or Sanhedrin. So see how they use the same words in for different functions and purposes in different contexts, but essentially these words or these specific letters carry certain coding in them that is part of their ritual. Then we have the CERN, which is a hadron collider. So you could say Sanhedrin collider. This is all what we'll be talking about here today. Okay, dr is the main word really, and dr equals to 84 in Hebrew gematria, and 84 is when number 44 was born, August the 4th. And then also dr in, I think, simple gematria is 418, where D is the fourth letter and R is the 18th letter. And when you reduce that, you get 49. Does that mean anything to anybody? If it does, leave it in the comment section below. So who would have thought that all you needed to be able to decode all this stuff, like I'm going to do here, was the kindergarten stuff of letters, numbers, shapes, colors, and sounds. These are what they use to connect the dots. Whatever clues are to be found, they will be either in a number, like a date, an address, gematria codes, a letter, or the sound it makes, or the number it represents. Could be a shape or a color. Quite often they use a combination of these. So the more one can see the dots and connect and how they're connected, the more the world opens up and the matrix unravels. So anything that exists is made up of these four elements: letters, numbers, shapes, and colors. These are the basic elements. Okay, like the weather, like chemistry. These are the very basic elements. Okay. And these are the same elements in the Bible in Genesis 1, when it talks about creation, they're talking about the elements, the color, the light, the shape of the earth. So letters, numbers, shapes, and colors. Another word for shapes is form, and then letters is alphabet. But the acronym for this is SCAN, and you'll see why that is important. SCAN. Okay. Genesis 1:3, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. What is that? Is that a shape or a color? That's a color. Light is color. Colors can be expressed as either pigments or light. So I'm going to use this foundational knowledge to tie in from when I explain the tetrarchs. So this scan is quite important. And then even this AFCON, if you use the AF, you have the AFCN. And I think this year there's a huge game in Africa, which will be held in the East African region. And I think the acronym for that name is AFCON, which I don't know what it means. I think African Conference of Nations, something like that. Okay, and then scan, this is scanning technology, and we'll see that shortly, why that is important. Okay, what's a tetrahedron? It's a polyhedron that has four faces, like a basic pyramid. That's a pyramid where the base is a triangle, 3 sides, versus the common one, which is 4 sides. So the first smallest 3D polygon is the tetrahedron, which has 4 triangular faces, 6 edges, and 4 vertices. It is the simplest form of a polyhedron. So the tetrahedron possible. So it is the fundamental building block of 3D models, and so all the other models are built upon this. So it is an important shape. Okay. These are just quick definitions, but hedron, what's a hedron? The last definition, it's a crystal or geometrical figure having a specified form of number of surfaces. So tetrahedron, octahedron. So the tetra modifies the hedron. So if it's tetra, it's 4. If it's pentahedron, that's 5. It's hexa, that's 6, and so forth, and so on. The term hedron comes from the Greek word meaning base or seat and is often used in geometry to refer to the faces of three-dimensional shapes such as polyhedra. So it's the base, and this is just a quick addition here. Saturn is the seat of Satan. That is the base of his operations, and we know that's a hexahedron, or the base has 6 sides. Okay, and you know what? My dad's name, one of his names, which actually he stopped using, it's quite interesting, is it's cognate with this hedron. Just one letter is different, so that's very interesting to me that he stopped using that name. Okay, let us look at this hedron as it's still a compound word, and we'll just examine where we see this hedron. Okay, the first one is in Sanhedrin or Sanhedron or Sanhedrin. It's the same thing. What is a Sanhedrin? It's an assembly, a sitting together, which was a Jewish legislative and judicial assembly in the ancient land of Israel. I think it still exists. And this is the council that condemned Jesus. Jesus was condemned by the Sanhedrin, a Jewish council, after being accused of blasphemy and claiming to be the Messiah. This trial led to the eventual sentencing to death, which was carried out by the Roman authorities. So here we see how that Sanhedrin, modifying that is that word, how it's those people are the ones who sentenced the Messiah to death. Okay. The Sanhedrin is the council, the chief priests, elders, and scribes. This is Matthew 26:59. Now the chief priests and elders and all the council sought false witness against Jesus to put him to death. And Psalm 64:2, hide me. This is like a prayer. Hide me. These people still exist, okay? And they're in your courts. They're the system that now rules, and they're everywhere now, you know? It's systematic. So a good prayer is to hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. They are the same people, they're everywhere. Okay, the Sanhedrin was an assembly of 23 people, one for each of the lands in biblical Israel. That makes me wonder 23 whether it is that has anything to do with the 23andMe, and I'm sure it does. If you know why the connection, let us know in the comment section below. Okay, another Sanhedron is the Sanhedron, and San is seen or seen, which means with, you know, along with or together, but also means at the same time. So the Sanhedron is like many faces of the base. So the sun is modifying the hedron, but also the sun face. This leads to sun worship or the all-seeing eye. You know, so the hedron is the base and the sun is the face. Again, this ties in. The sun is a ball and is a whole face. It is the perfected form, yeah, beyond the polyhedron. This is why these people you know, worship the sun. Okay, so we can see their how their programming with these codes ties in with not everything. They tie it in with a lot of the things they do. You can see how it relates. Okay, Hedron is Herod. Who is Herod? Herod the Great is known in the Bible for ordering the massacre of the innocents, where he commanded the killing of all male children under 2 years old in Bethlehem to eliminate the threat posed by the newborn Jesus. He also played a role in the events leading to the execution of John the Baptist and was involved in the trial of Jesus during his ministry. So we see Herod, the Hedron, the Herod. We have scripture to support that, Matthew 14:10, and he sent and beheaded John in the prison. This was Herod. Matthew 2:16, then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. By the way, they still are slaying our children. It's true. It's through the DR, through the doctors. Yeah. Luke 9:7 again about Herod. Now Herod the Tetrarch. This is a perfect scripture. TetraHedron. This is him. Now Herod the Tetrarch heard of all that was done by him, and he was perplexed, because that it was said of some that John was risen from the dead. Let's see how they're coding. Nimrod, you see the RD. Nimrod is a biblical figure mentioned in the book of Genesis, described as a mighty hunter and a king in the land of Shinar, which is part of ancient Mesopotamia. He is often associated with the Tower of Babel and is viewed as a symbol of rebellion against God. And so we see the Hedron, and the main letters are the RD, research and development. Genesis 10:9, and Cush begat Nimrod, he began to be a mighty one in the earth. And 10:9, he was a mighty hunter before the Lord, whereof it is said, even as a Nimrod, the mighty hunter of the Lord. Okay, now we come to the Hadron Collider. The Hadron Collider is CERN, so you could say Sanhedrin or Sanhedrin Collider. So it is the same thing. If you listen to how people speak, you can pick up so much information. What is a Hadron Collider? It's a type of particle accelerator that collides hadrons, which are subatomic particles made of quarks, such as protons and neutrons. The most famous example is the Large Hadron Collider, which accelerates protons to near the speed of light and allows scientists to study fundamental particles and forces in the universe. The speed of light is the speed of a sun. The sun's rays is the speed of light. When they say speed of light, they're measuring the sun's rays. So the Large Hadron Collider has a circumference of approximately 27 kilometers and is located underground at the France-Switzerland border near Geneva. So the whole plan of this Hadron Collider is to collide with the sun. Right now they're engaged in an all-out war with the sun, because when the poles align, and as the poles align, the light emanating from the sun will be destructive to entities that don't belong here on Earth. The entities being released from the sun are multi-headed monsters, also referred to as Hydra, as we shall see in maybe the next few screens. And the interesting tidbit here is that the circumference is 27. It reminds me of Florida State, which is the 27th state. Okay. So CERN is a Hadron Collider, and it is a hydrogen collider. So it is intended to or in destroying the sun. So technically CERN, the Hadron Collider, is a sun destroyer. At its core, that's what they want to do, because they want to stop the return of the mighty one of Israel. So the sun itself is primarily made up of hydrogen and helium with trace amount of other elements. It exists as a massive ball of hot gas and plasma, where nuclear fusion occurs in its core, converting hydrogen into helium and releasing energy. And hadrons are composite subatomic particles made of two or more quarks, while hydrogen is the simplest chemical element consisting of a single proton and no neutrons. Well, I put this here to show that hadron is hydrogen. So let not the words confuse you. A Hadron Collider is a hydrogen collider, because hydrogen is made of hadrons. See, hadrons include protons and neutrons, which are found in the nucleus of atoms, including hydrogen. Again, the whole plan of the Hadron Collider is to collide with the sun. Okay. And also there's a lot of mockery and mimicry here, because, you know, figuratively, Jesus is the light of the world. So symbolically, the sun can be said to represent Jesus. So this CERN in Switzerland is a ritual to destroy our Messiah, which of course we know they cannot do, but they will not stop trying. You have to give these people an A for effort, because they just never stop. They will wear out the saints because they just never stop, period. They're caught in a loop, essentially. Anyway, Hydra. Again, what is Hydra? In Greek legend, which we know is fallen angel fact, Hydra is a gigantic water snake-like monster with 9 heads. And one of the heads is immortal. Excuse me. Okay. So this is here just to show that that word and that frequency, the sound, the DR, it has a lot of things that tie to their activities and their rituals and their identities. So this would be that snake. This is actually like a historical artwork in some museum. This is just from the net, like Google, I think. We have the octopus and Medusa. And it's a long story because the Hydra is thought of to be feminine in nature. So this is quite interesting with Medusa and all that. And you know, it's so interesting. We read this stuff in schools, and we are taught as history but they don't clarify this is demonic history we are learning. And Medusa, it's interesting because Med has to do with the doctor, which is DR, and then USA is like USA, so Med and then USA. This is why you see a lot of these things that are coming will be brought on the world by the medical system, the WHO. Of course, the US will be the foundational area where it's activated, like they did with the jab. Yeah. And you know, I have to tell you this. I had a friend when I lived in Florida, and she went to this university in South Africa. I mean, she went back to South Africa, but that's where she went to school. So I think that's interesting. Okay, Hydra Collider or Hadron Collider, it doesn't matter what you call it. It's the multiple limbs and appendages, many heads, you know. The form is the same and it's consistent, whether it's many heads or many hands or many, just out of normal, just not normal. And we have this at that CERN. We have the statue of Shiva, also known as Nataraja, which symbolizes the cosmic dance of creation, preservation, and destruction, reflecting the principles of modern physics. It was a gift from India to honor the long-standing collaboration between India and CERN, representing the interconnections of science and spirituality. These people, I've told you, a lot of people were created for these end times. There's no way you can have people being over 1 billion and another 2 billion. They were created. They are creations of these entities. And I think some of these people just went to Israel claiming to be Jews. I mean, what's coming will shock us. But anyways, so there's many representations of this. Same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And I think in my previous video about the mark of the beast, the CO. So he's the O, and I think C is the sun, CERN. Um, I think. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Yes, so there's more words with the RD words, the meteoroid, the asteroid, the androids, the iron rod. We are under the iron rod. We are ruled by the iron rod, literally. That's I could do a whole other video on that. The DR, the Democratic Republic of Congo. So you see why they will never let them off their thumb, from under their thumb. Is that the correct expression? The Dominican Republic, so these DR words, pay attention to them and you'll see there's something going on with these people or those locations. We have androgyny, they are the drones, the droids, the drowning. A lot of celebrities drown in bathtubs, or number 44's chef drowned in a pool, We have Rhodes Scholar, Rhodesia, which is the old name for Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a hub of supernatural activity, huge. And these demonic entities are going back to Africa now. So they're getting ready for the Armageddon. Like I've always said, it's going to be a battle for the land of Africa. Anyway, we have names like Herod. He was Herod. Is that the name? He was a famous baseball player. We have Axelrod. I think, is that number 44's advisor? I forgot to put that name here. We have Rodney King, the riots. And then we have titles like Doctor, which is DR. And another title I should have put here is RN. So the doctors, the nurses, the DRN. Those people are going to be very instrumental in the end times. So these are code. So when I was doing this, the codes, there's so the CERN, CERN, and then scan. Let me if I can show you that. That was I showed you this earlier here. This acronym, scan. So when I was doing those codes, something comes up about South Africa, and it is that South Africa will be sent to the ER. So I don't know how that looks like, but it's like the country of South Africa will be sent to the ER, like an emergency room, or South Africa will be the emergency room for, I don't know for what. And that's a code I'm still trying to understand, and once I get more information, I'll bring it out. But it also has to do with fire. And this reminds me of when the Lichtenberg Museum caught fire in South Africa, I think in, when was it? In 2023? Let me check. Yeah, I think it was in October the 27th, 2023. So, well, this information is not to alarm anyone, but rather to cause you to prepare. And the best way to prepare is in prayer. Okay. TetraHedron. So the tetragrammaton. The tetra modifies the grammaton. What is the tetragrammaton? It's the 4-letter Hebrew name of God represented as Yod-He Vah-He YHWH. It is often associated with the meaning to be and is considered sacred in Jewish tradition, where it is typically not pronounced out loud. Well, this word is actually a Bantu word. Those of you who speak African languages, especially the Bantu languages, you know that's a Bantu word. And Bantu seeds Hebrew. It's not the other way around. Hebrew does not seed Bantu. Bantu seeds Hebrew. Hebrew is a language that developed from the Bantu languages. But anyways, I just put this here and read the definitions and see what you can come up with. It's a I would like to discuss this tetragrammaton, but I'll do it in its own separate video. And it's yeah, and coming up after this is a short video too that mentions the tetragrammaton. I hope it will make sense to you, and also it talks about CERN, what CERN really is. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Questions, suggestions, comments are always welcome. If this resonates with you, please share, like, and subscribe. Let us remember, all is truth, there can only be truth. Everything else is a distraction. Do not be distracted. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next. Thank you.
To do your will, O God. I have come in the volume of the book. It was written about me. To do your will, O God. I have come in the volume of the book. It was written about me. To do your will, O God. Oh, I have come in the volume of the scrolls. It was written about me. To do your will, O God. I will do your will, do your will, O God.